Archuleta here again. Before we've spoken about how we use one of these 2.5 gallon water-filled extinguishers to put out a small fire. Now we're going to talk about filling them up with water and charging them up with air. So in order to fill it up with water, I take this cap off, I just unscrew it. I pull this whole nozzle out of here, and I can set that to the side. Inside, there's a small little cap in here that fits inside. I'm going to fill it with water to the base of that. And when I fill it to the base of that, that water is going to come gushing out. That's how I know when that thing is full. So let me go ahead and top this extinguisher off. Alright, I can see the water come out the top of here. I can look in there and make sure that that's right to the top. The next thing I do is before I put this spraying mechanism back on, I want to look right here at the base of the cap. There's an O-ring that goes there. I want to make sure that O-ring is in place and that is not damaged. If it's not, this thing is not going to hold pressure and I need to replace that. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this down in there. I'm going to line up the nozzle with the nozzle catch right here, and I'm just going to hand tighten this thing. I don't want to over tighten this or use pliers or anything like that. Only hand tighten it completely, because when I fill this up with air, it's going to put a lot more pressure on there and it could become difficult to get off. So I hand tighten this all the way. All right, once it's hand tightened, I'm going to go ahead and hook up my compressor. On this side we have the regulator. On the back side I have a Schrader valve. This is the same kind of valve that you would find on a bicycle tire or your car tire. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this up. Unfortunately, this compressor is not hooked up right here, but what I would do is turn the compressor on. I would keep an eye on the regulator right here, and I would keep an eye on the gauge on the compressor until that thing filled up to 100 PSI. As soon as it got to 100 PSI, I would go ahead and shut it off, disconnect the compressor, put the cap back on to protect that Schrader valve, and now this thing is ready to go. At the end of the fire season, when it comes time to, when I want to put this away for the season, what I can do is, because that thing drafts from the bottom, right now there's some air on the top. If I turn this over, now that the air is at the bottom, I can just squeeze the trigger, and that'll let all the pressure out of this extinguisher, and I can go ahead and store it for the winter. So that is how we fill and charge up a 2.5 gallon water-filled fire extinguisher. Thank you very much.